Hey folks, this is Best in Slot and welcome to free update 9 for Prehistoric Kingdom, a humongous new free update that not only adds 4 new species of dinosaur, but it adds new dinosaur behaviors, it adds a new map, it adds a new biome, and it adds some new decorations and makes some really cool changes to existing ones as well. We're going to dig into all of that throughout the video, but we're going to start off here with the first of our new species, probably the highlight dinosaur of the pack, the Spinosaurus Egypticus, which just looks absolutely staggering. Definitely my favourite Spinosaurus now, probably in all of Paleo Media, honestly. I think it's near enough perfect. So we've got a couple of nice features here. We've got this kind of scalloped crest at the front there. Of course, we've got the big sail in the middle across the spine with this kind of like slightly staggered edge there. And then we've got that big fat paddle tail drooping down, hanging all the way back, half its body size in this humongous paddle tail. It is inherently such a bizarre looking theropod, which is one of the reasons I love Spinosaurus so much. It's such a weird looking dinosaur that really, oh I'm sorry buddy, you struggled a bit here. That really stands out against, you know, the other large theropods, which can look a little bit more homogeneous on the basic level, but Spinosaurus stands alone. It's got some really gorgeous skins as well. This one's interesting because you'll see here we've got all these osteoderms, we've got these thick scales, we've got these nodules along the back, along the side, along the sail up there. The skins have been kind of divided into 2, so we've got another one over here. This is the, I think, Sobek skin, which I really enjoy as well. You can see that's got the same. Again, we've got this kind of sort of crocodilian approach to design. But if you wanted to take it in a different direction, if we nip over here to my actual favourite skin of the bunch, I'm just going to move you, buddy, because you're in the way. To Merensank over here, you can see that they're all gone, and it's got a much more, I guess, leathery approach to the skin. The osteoderms are gone, the nodules are gone, the scales themselves across all of the body are smaller than they were on the others, and this skin is a thing of sheer beauty. It is staggering. Whoever the artist is for this, it deserves all the credit in the world. This is a utterly gorgeous dinosaur skin. It really is. This is my favorite thing in the world. I saw a lot of comments from people who were worried about the quadrupedal nature of the Spinosaurus because of one screenshot. It doesn't use it. It doesn't walk, as you can see, on all 4 limbs. The only time it really uses those, you know, 3rd and 4th limbs, those forearms, is when it's sort of come to a rest and it's kind of just leaning down on them a little bit. It's not a big deal. It's definitely more than within the realms of possibility that it would use those, even if only briefly. God, you're pretty. This sounds fantastic as well, as it tends to do. And we've got one more skin over here. The Spino does get 4. We get this very naturalistic, toned down sort of tamer skin, again in that leathery sort of coloration. Love those little neck warbles and breathy sounds as well. Sounds like what I imagine a Spinosaurus would sound like. It just feels like a real dinosaur. It's really good. And of course, Spinosaurus would be the perfect dinosaur to showcase the new swimming mechanic. If any of them felt like swimming, that would be fantastic. I'll tell you what, I'm going to grab you, my buddy. I'm going to put you over here, and that should incentivize you to go for a little bit of a swim. God, you're pretty, though. I mean, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So every species in the game can now swim. It's not just the dinosaurs, it's not just the new creatures. Every single species in the game is now capable of at least some form of swimming. However, whether they want to utilize the water for their nav mesh is down to each individual creature. Each individual creature now has a, well, let's see them swim first. Are you walking around? You're really not proving my point well here, Spinosaurus. Go in the water, you numpty. They're all avoiding. They've been swimming all day. As soon as I start the video, nah, I'm not interested. Not interested at all. Oh, maybe we are. Maybe we are. There we go. Look at that beautiful smooth transition. A little bit finicky there at the end, although I've given them a very steep drop off. But there is our Spinosaurus, our swimming Spinosaurus. Looks absolutely fantastic. Really smooth movements. You can see those back legs in particular just kicking out slowly. The paddle tail swinging side to side. I don't know how they've added this to every creature in the game. I think that's crazy work, but looks really good. I've not given them enough room. You could give them obviously a lot larger space than this, but it works beautifully. And the water, the dinosaurs don't just get wet, or the species don't just get wet. They get it depending on how deep they went. You can kind of see the line around here where the bottom half is darker and sort of gleaming a little from the water, and the top of the sail is dry. It's just a lovely attention to detail. You're so pretty. So yeah, everything in the game now has water traversal abilities. i.e. they can swim, but basically different species will prefer the water over others. So Spinosaurus will actively seek it out to use it as part of their nav mesh, even though it didn't look like it just then. Whereas some dinosaurs and some other species will just avoid it at all costs. They can travel over it, but it's not their favourite thing to do. It feels a bit riskier for them, so they will avoid the water unless they absolutely have to use it. So not only do they all have it, but they utilise it in different ways, which I think is also really, really cool. All right, let's check out our next species. Where are we going? Let's go over here. We're going to check out the Mutabor, our lovely Australian dinosaur. This is Bam Bam. This is a fantastic name. Going to pause you for a second there, Bam Bam, so we can take a look at you. So yeah, Mutabor, our new large iguanodontid from Australia. So we've got these thick raised vertebrae down there at the back. Oh, it's sniffing. It's sniffing. We've got this hollow nasal muzzle sort of thing over here at the front. This was, you know, this would be able to be filled with air, assumedly, and they would use this to make calls, probably alerting for danger, for mating calls and stuff like that, making those kind of honking noises that we just heard. Fantastic. Exactly what... Oh, stop being inside each other, okay. Exactly the kind of noise you would expect here. Kind of like a horn. And yes, more beautiful colours. I love these kind of soft, lovely colours we've got here on this one, and then you've got this burst of colour over there on the nasal crest, because not only would it be used to call for other dinosaurs, but, you know, sometimes you'd use it for display purposes as well. And you'll see that a lot of the coloration is focused on that region. That I feel bad for the Mutaborosaurus. I've given it by far the smallest habitat for some reason. The Mutabor is, I believe, the only of the dinosaurs with, I'd say, fairly clear sexual dimorphism in one of the skins. This one over here, you can see this. The male one has this sort of grey coloration that fades down into the coffee creamy colours, and then the female version, Matilda, fantastic names again, has the sort of more warm colours between the two. Are we going to see a swimming Mutabora? You were so close. Oh, you're thinking about it. You're thinking about it. Yeah, we're going for a swim. So you can, yeah, the animations are different. You can see already there the mutters using their forearms more than the Spinosaurus did. It's still kind of, I can't imagine the work it took to make this work for every dinosaur in the game, and the inverse kinematics that apply when they get into the water are really impressive as well. I love that you can see the head bobbing above the water there, trying to, you know, make sure that they don't drown, which is a fairly logical thing to do. Oh, a little stretch. Anyways, that is our Mutaborosaurus. Oh, over here we've got another large carnivore, if I can find any of them. You might look. No, we're actually going to look at a Rannosaurus next. So this is...
Just look at that. This sailback dinosaur is Rannosaurus, an ornithopod related to both the thumb-spiked iguanodonts and the duck-billed hadrosaurs. It might be difficult to imagine having to haul around such an impressive structure on your back, but the spines of ornithischian dinosaurs were stiff and strong thanks to a crisscrossing lattice that supported their vertebrae made out of ossified tendons. Literally, tendons that turned into bone.
So a Rannosaurus, our beautiful sail-backed hadrosaurid there, moving along bipedally, lovely. So a little bit of it swimming. I've given them some dirty water because everyone else got nice clean water, so I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. But again, looking absolutely beautiful. There's a bit of a sail-backed theme today. I've only really just noticed that, but that's definitely a bit of a recurring theme in today's dinosaurs. Got some fantastic skins. This is the one that sticks out the most for the colorways. This is just evocative and hyper colourful rainbow. We've got blues and greens and creamy colours. It's on a little bit of a jog here, moving again purely bipedally as you would expect. The sail's the main thing. Again, you can see that kind of slight thickness at the bottom there around here where the muscle and fat is supporting the high vertebra structure, which is assumedly mainly used for display. There's so many sail-backed dinosaurs, and the debate about what the sail's for kind of always goes through the same stages. Initially, it's always for like cooling and stuff like that, and it may have been a facet, but typically we always come back to the same thing, which is probably used for display. But that swings all the way down here to the back of the tail, and we can have a look at the third skin over here. We've got these lovely shapes down here across the sail, kind of like what are they called? Ear cleaner things, ear picks. What are they called? Little things with the white bits on the cotton sticks, whatever the heck they're called, along the back. And then we've got this kind of like sort of bony effect down there. This lovely thin scale pattern, and yeah, just hold on, buddy. Sounds completely different than the Mutaborosaurus, which is really nice as well. I think it'd be quite easy to have a tendency to make all these large hadrosaurids or iguanodontids sound the same, but this one's almost got these bird-like coos and then these very breathy noises as well. So even amongst the dinosaurs' own noises, we've got a lovely bit of variety. And I mean, just look at them together. This incredible dynamic colouring, super bright, super colourful, and then the much more chill and naturalistic. You always get those choices, you know, you can always choose which direction you want to go in with the dinosaurs in this game. What a beauty. I like this one a lot, actually, with these kind of large shapes dropping down and those contrasting colours. Right, one more dinosaur to check. I don't know why they got by far the biggest habitat. I didn't really think about it. Over here, we have our fourth new dinosaur, I should say. I think every single one of them is swimming. I'm going to grab you, Kazuha. I'm just going to bring you over here. This is our Karadodontosaurus. Again, little bit of a sail hump there, much smaller than the others. Our gigantic Carcharodontid, funnily enough. And yeah, it's just awesome to get another classical large theropod. This chunky, meaty kind of dinosaur. Beautiful skull shape there from the front, as you can see. Looks really good. Those thick thighs, saving lives, tiny little arms. Although it gives a little scratch. Thank you, buddy. That was very well timed. I really appreciate that. Yeah, there's not much. I don't know what else to say about it. It just looks great. There's all these little animations that play out when the dinosaurs move that just makes them feel so natural. Little scratches, little roars, little warbles. You know, they don't just walk from point A to point B feeling like that's, you know, this mandatory behavior. They feel like they're exploring and walking around and just kind of reacting to their environment and themselves, essentially, I suppose. I think the tongue's got a little... Whoa, calm down, buddy. Bloody hell. I mean... Okay, let's take a look at some of the other skins. Another one popping out here. We've got more sort of a wibbly, stripy sort of effect. You're having a nap. You've not picked... I'm just going to point over there. You can see, though, the whole skin darkened up there because it sort of ducked its whole body under the water. Maybe it needs to be a thing that detects where water is, and it's got like a radius around it that stops them doing certain behaviors, like napping, for example. That might be an idea for the future, but no idea how hard that would be. Okay, I'll come back to you later when you're less moist. Got our third skin over here. This is our darker skin. You can see all these sort of red tones, this kind of volcanic, arid kind of vibe. They've all got that kind of feel to them. It's, you know, very much a Sahara-themed dinosaur. And let's check out how it... Are you doing the same bloody thing? Stop napping in the lake, you numpties. Yeah, that one, maybe my favourite of the bunch. I love that little burst of red there on the eyebrow crest that fades out down the snout. Lovely little ridge there. They're just all four dinosaurs are really beautifully modelled. I think the Spinosaurus sticks out as being absolutely exceptional, but they all look fantastic. And they've all got some beautiful, beautiful skins with loads of... I mean, this is just a brown... I love that it scratches itself whilst it's eating, by the way. It feels like the scratching is an individual behaviour, which is how life works. You know, you don't scratch yourself as an individual, like, I'm walking along, wait, now is the time to scratch myself. It's, oh, I'm doing this, but my neck is itchy, I'll give it a little scratch. I'm eating some meat, but my neck's a little itchy, I'll give myself a little scratch. It just folds into the rest of their behaviours. I know it's not a big deal, but it's those little details that make the dinosaurs feel much more alive. So you can see we're also on a brand new map. This is our crater. Can't quite remember where it is, but this is a new crater map. This is advertising the new grasslands biome. I really like this one. It reminds me of Ungoro Crater from World of Warcraft. And I just think it's a really... first of all, the walls and the texture looks really fantastic. The sort of the shaping of this crater. Lovely little details in there where the foliage sort of fades away. But also, I just think it's a really cool place to build a park. And I definitely think we'll be building our next park, you know, in the heart of a giant crater. That's just inherently awesome. Now, this wasn't added in this update, but I do want to showcase this feature because I think it's really cool. If we come over here to our landscaping, you can see, you know, we picked the grasslands biome, and we now get these sort of categories, and these categories have a number of plants in. So this one's got 12, this one's got 5, this one's got 9, and these are both lush savanna, and this one's dry savanna. And you can, if you want, click here and kind of pick individually the plants you want, as you always could. But if you wanted now to have sort of... But now if you want to have specific little biomes, like you want the dry savanna... But now if you want specific little biomes, the PK devs have grouped their plants into sort of relative buckets, basically, and you can pick one and it'll use the relevant plants only, which I think is... Like, I know it's not new for this update, but I didn't see the last update, so I just think it's a fantastic addition. If we go to wetland, we've got bayous, mangroves, reeds, just... There's different themes, different vibes. yeah, I think that's going to make exhibit building even easier. It's fantastic. Some of the ideas they've come up with in this game for how to make, you know, vegetation and landscaping stuff easier, the rescaling and all that kind of jazz, I just think they do some really cool new ideas. So let's check out the new grassland biome. So you can see we've got lush savanna here. Let's pull that down. So it does occasionally pop up a tree, but not too many. I think savanna is defined by it's basically the amount of space between each tree. So trees are there typically in the savanna, but they're quite spread out. We've also got so we've got two types of lush savanna. This one looks to be a treeless variety, or largely treeless variety. Let's make that a bit bigger and kind of go on. This one's got more dry grasses. As you can see, it's definitely less lush than the other one, but lots of these dry grasses and lots of these sort of smaller grasses on the ground. This one's got these larger bushes and then these trees over the top, and then we've got this dry savanna as well. There's more trees and again more of these sort of dry grasses. You can see here it's kind of suggesting maybe a texture you'd want to use as well. Maybe you want to have this on the sand or something like that, on the dirt. Might look good. And yeah, instantly goes right. Yeah, looks great. I don't know what to say. There we go. Here we can grab all the plants, all these different plants, and you can see these are our new grassland plants. Really, really like this biome. This is always one of my favorite biomes in games. This and tropical tends to be what I flip between. I love these reeds. I love these tall grasses we get. I think dinosaurs really look cool stomping through environments like this classically. Okay, two last things I want to show you. On the other side of this board we have this is some Space Odyssey kind of nonsense. Ta-da! Over here we've got some brand new fonts. I love how the font system is integrated into this game. You just kind of select the fonts that you want. You select the text that you want. Maybe you've built your sign, you decide you want to change the font. You can just come down here and flick between these new themes we've got over here, and you kind of choose your font just like that. There was, I think, one alternate in the past, and now there's obviously a bunch more fantastic stuff. We've got the skinny one over here. We've got this kind of blocky, techie sort of vibe. We've got like a Wild West kind of thing. You could build a saloon and stuff like that. We've got one that's clearly inspired by Jurassic Park, and why the heck not? And then we've got this kind of floofy, loopy kind of one down here at the bottom. This kind of, what would you call it? Sort of joined up. Cursive. Cursive is the word. I was going to call it joined up. We used to call it joined up in school. I learned initially, when I learned to write, I learned in cursive because I went to a posh school. And then I went to a rough school instead, and they were like, stop writing in cursive, what are you doing? So that got hammered out of me. Anyways, fantastic new fonts. Just a bit of variety for your signs and really easy to utilize. Okay, last thing I want to show you, and honestly, not the biggest change, but for me personally, it's definitely up there. A few updates ago, they changed how the rocks work in Prehistoric Kingdom, and they did that to make them scalable, to make them scale up better. They gave them this infinitely tiled rock texture. The problem with it was that at small sizes it looked okay, but as soon as you started to scale it up, it became very homogenized. It became very flat looking. It just didn't look like rock anymore. It killed the texture. It retained its quality, but it didn't look good anymore. And it was a bit of a problem, so I'm really glad to hear that in this update, apparently they've fixed it. And what they've done is they've applied some scratches and some details and some sort of wear and tear to the texture that should hopefully make it still scale up permanently, which is what we want, of course, because the scaling is such a big part of Prehistoric Kingdom, but also retain the quality and also still look really good rather than homogenized. So we're going to put down a rock, and yeah, that is already looking... That's already looking pretty fantastic. So we grab our rock here. It always looked okay at smaller sizes. The test here is how is this going to look when we go like this? Bam. And you know what? It looks pretty good to me. So let's make that nice and big and zoom in. And as you can see, still very high quality. I think it's lost a little bit of the quality compared to what it would have had in the last update, but it looks a lot better. The texture looks so much more naturalistic now. It looks more worn down. It looks a lot rougher. And yeah, we've got our quality rocks back. The rocks, this is trust me, this is a big improvement over what they used to look like. It really is. So really glad to see that changed, because the hugely already I think it looks really good. The hugely scaling rocks were such a big part of why I liked this game, honestly. I'm really glad to see those fixed, because you just stick that down there and it makes that area look instantly really cool, you know? Yeah, I'm a big fan. Always been a big fan. I just want to screw around in Prehistoric Kingdom. We are going to start a park build. I've been talking about it recently. I've said very much I was waiting for this update to land. Not sure what the theme is going to be quite yet. Probably grassland. But But this game is wild. The fact that I can just whip that together in 2 seconds is bonkers to me. Absolutely bonkers. So that is Prehistoric Kingdom Update 9. There are some other small changes, some animations that were added. I want to spend more time with these dinosaurs, basically. So when we do a park build, of course, we'll add these and we'll spend more time observing them and seeing some of those animations play out. But I know some animations got added to existing dinosaurs, like the Dilophosaurus. You can check out the full patch notes, but this is definitely the highlights. And yeah, just another absolutely brilliant free update. If you've been holding off on Prehistoric Kingdom this Christmas, I really advise you try to get into it. Don't be intimidated by the intricacies of the building. I know the game isn't finished yet. You know, the management side is always improving, but definitely still has a ways to go. The sort of park building guest management side. But as a sandbox park builder, it is pretty bloody supreme. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you lovely folks very, very soon. Throw me a like down below if you enjoyed the video, and have a lovely end to your weekend. Cheers much of as always. Bye-bye.